What's up guys, my name is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about our 2020 Tacoma TRD Off-Road. I've had a lot more upgrades on it recently. This thing has been used and abused for R&D and shock tuning. Been down to Baja, all over California desert, Ocotillo Wells. This thing has been a champ. It's been overdue for some accessories, so I want to talk about those with you today. So first and foremost is the C4 bumper. This thing is awesome. Steel, super strong, and it holds our Warn winch with Factor 55 hook. Shout out to Justin at Factor 55. This setup has been great. We wouldn't go with any other winch besides Warn, especially when you need it the most. Warn is there to save the day. Also down below, we do have Relentless Fab skid plates for the engine and transmission. Those are also extremely heavy duty, so we can get through those nasty rock sections and not worry about, you know, hurting the transmission or oil pan or anything like that. 30-inch Baja Designs light bar in the grill. And then up here we have ditch lights from Baja Designs as well. And we do have the amber lens on there. So with all that added weight, of course we have ride shock suspension on here. So we got our 2.5 coilover. This is gonna be weight range 3. It actually includes a 700-pound spring. We do have the DPA adjusters to adjust high and low speed compression. Like today, we're out on an adventure, so we did stiffen up those a little bit just to control those bumps a little bit better. Then once we hit the pavement, we'll loosen them up again and ride like a Cadillac on the highway home. One really nice thing I want to point out is C4 Fabrication's frame support bracket. So other brands do have something similar to this, but I did want to point out how it does work in conjunction with our reservoir bracket. This is great. They can kind of sandwich them in between, and there's no additional modifications really necessary to do that. When you're running a winch on the bumper like that, you definitely want to have that frame support bracket. So ride shocks and C4 works great together. So of course our front suspension wouldn't be complete without AccuTune Off-Road's upper control arm. We have the FK rod end, sealed heim joints on there, all steel ball joint. This upper control arm actually pushes the tire a little bit further forward. So you'll see in a minute, we actually do not need a cab mount chop for these 285 7017, which is basically a 33-inch tire. This is probably the most common size tire you're gonna see on Tacomas. They fit extremely well. You don't need to re-gear or anything like that. And so yeah, I mean, moving on to the BFGs, they're all terrain. Like I said, basically a 33-inch tire. And then we're running some raceline wheels to go with that. It's a great package, works phenomenal. And actually, as you can see right here, there's plenty of room, even for those high articulation off-road trails. So underneath, we talked about, we have the Relentless Fab engine and transmission skid. On the sides, we have their rock sliders, which are phenomenal. I mean, heavy duty DOM tubing. It's a great for a step or for those rocky trails where you can pivot on them. So up top, we do have a Sherpa roof rack. This thing is really heavy duty and simple to install. This has been super helpful for us, like attending shows or even off-road trips. Carrying more gear up top allows heavier, bulkier things to be in the bed. Yeah, it's been great. Sherpa's been awesome. So continuing with storage, we do have a Relentless Fab bed rack. As you can see, there's not too much added to this yet. There may be a rooftop tent added here in the future or some roto packs. If you have any suggestions, let us know in the comments. But with that added weight, we are going to support it with our rear suspension. So as you can see down here, we are going to have a Deaver U402 Stage 1 leaf pack. For the current weight setup on this Tacoma, that's all that's really necessary. It's a little bit oversprung, but once we add some weight in there, it really mellows things out, and the ride quality improves greatly. Of course, we have ride shocks here. This is gonna be our Stage 3 rear shock. Depending on the weight range you have, we have a shock to accommodate that. Right now, the DPA adjusters have been turned up a little bit just to be a little bit more firm and controlled off-road as we go through some bigger bumps and everything like that. To complete the rear suspension with the Deaver leaf pack and our shock, we do have AccuTune Off-Road U-bolt flip kit with foam bump stop. This allows, when you do bottom out, it to be a lot softer and controllable. Compared to factory, where it's a rubber bump stop, it's just gonna be a jarring hit, where our foam bump stop is gonna be a lot smoother and controlled. All right, so for the rear end, we do have C4 bumpers. This is their Rock Runner bumper. I like this bumper a lot. Super high clearance and protects all sides of the rear end, not just the back of it. And then for backing up, we have the S1 Baja Design lights. Yeah, keeping this rear end really simple. Recovery points are great. especially for off-roading and getting into situations that require that worn winch. So to control those lights, we have front and rear from Baja Designs. We are using S-Pod's controller. As you can see, there are some leftover spots. So if we do in fact want to add more lights, there's plenty of options. All right, so that covers it on our 2020 Tacoma. We've got a lot of great upgraded parts from companies like C4, Warn, Baja Designs, Relentless Fabrication, and of course, Ride Shocks. Our Tacoma is pretty heavy. I believe it's bordering that 5,600 pound range, but our front and rear shocks are accommodating that with ease. This thing is phenomenal on the road and off-road, and we probably have some more room to add some more things on there. So what do you think we should add on there? Post up a comment below and let us know what you think. Thanks for watching.